Welcome back, Junior Black Belts, teen and adult classes. I'm so happy to be with you again today. Today's an exciting day. We're going to start our new curriculum. So let me just quickly say two things about that. Number one is, if you've been working really hard on your old curriculum and you feel like you're really close to test, but you haven't done that yet, then please email me or have mom and dad email me and let me know when you're ready. I'll be happy to review you and see where you're up to with your technique. The second thing is, if you have already graduated, and I'll read the names of our graduates in just a minute, we can go on to the new curriculum, and the old curriculum will still be supported on the last few weeks of our online lessons. But in our live lessons and in the lessons going forward, we will work on our new material. So here are our graduates. We have two new junior black belts, and those are Ms. Cora Cambestad and Ms. Lila Shulak. So I know you'll join me in welcoming them. They've been working really, really hard for a long time to graduate from a blue jacket to red and then to the junior black belt ranks. So they're happy to be with you. Miles, Audrey, Taylor, Aaron, Ethan, Dan, Sana, sorry, a few more. Mitchell, Mr. Mitchell, Jacob Mitchell, Matthew, and Emma Stevens. So Matthew and Emma are now at level 7. So we also had some adults and teens graduate, Miss Corey Copenhaver to purple and Miss Tate to blue. So really proud of all the people who graduated, and I know there's a bunch more of you who haven't had an opportunity to do that yet, but I'm happy to, Mr. Packwood is happy to, Mr. Towery is happy to test you whenever you feel like you're ready. And but today we're going on to our new stuff, so take a look at this and hope you enjoy it. For our warm-ups and stretch today, we're going to do 3 exercises, and we're just going to do them one time each, and then do a stretch in between, or one of them will actually have a stretch in it. If you want to do a lot more, of course, you can go through as many times as you want on these exercises, and they'll give you a great workout. But we're just going to quickly warm up and stretch so that we're ready for class today. So let's begin with pop squats. So this may be a variation on something that you guys already know. So let's do hand down on the floor, pop up. Hand down on the floor, pop up. That's right. Just change hands each time. Just pop up a little bit in between. That's right. We're warming up our legs. Keep your back straight. Bend your legs a lot. That's right. Good coordination. That's good. Feet in, feet out. Feet in, feet out. All right, just 3 more. And let's do stretch number 11. So one leg out in the front, lean forward, stretch. You're not leaning down, leaning out. Then if your front foot won't go further, you can pick up your back leg and push it out behind you. Lean forward. Good job. Okay, other side of our body. Stretch number 11. And come. Okay. So next one will be T push-ups. So this actually stretches our shoulders while working us out a little bit. So I'll change sides of my body each time and you try to do the same thing. All right, so push up, come up, balance on one side, put your hand up straight back behind you. Good. Other side of our body. Stretch that shoulder, that the same side that it's being supported. Good. All right, just one more on each side. I know you karate kids can do push-ups all day long. We need to move on. Great. Okay, So our last one is mountain climbers. Again, just getting our legs ready. So hands down, feet back, and change legs. Great. And stretch number 12. As far as you can. All right, great job. Let's get kicking. Today we'll work on the basics for To San Hyeon. Now later we'll put them into combinations, and we'll even show you how to use them as one steps to help you understand the application of this letter, and then of course we'll create the entire form. So, To San is the third traditional form of taekwondo. So let's work on some of the basics that we need for this form, and don't worry about the combinations, don't worry about putting the form together. We'll show you some of the stances, but again, we're not really concerned about that as much as making sure we're getting the basics right. Some of you have done this form for years and years. Good. We all need to improve our basics. Some of you have never done this before. Good, because then you can learn it right from the beginning. So let's start out with the first move in the form. That's an outer forearm lock. Outer forearm lock. So outer forearm lock folds underneath. Both hands are fisted. Fold underneath. Come on the outside of this arm like this, and twist both hands over right at impact. So rotating a little bit with your body and out with the hand. So both hands should be rotating at the same time. Remember, almost every single traditional taekwondo technique has a twist at the end of the hand technique. So you want the hands to turn at the same time, just showing individual self-control of each technique. So it looks like, I know it looks like I'm coming out from inner forearm block, but then at the end, at impact, I'm turning the correct striking surface into the shot. So this could also be a bent arm, hammer fist strike. It could also be a breakaway. It could also just be a block, meaning something, and of course it's a coordination exercise to get us stronger and build in the neural paths. So that's outer forearm lock. I'll show it to you from the side. Fold under, outer forearm lock. Now I'm stepping back each time here. A lot of times we're stepping forward, we're actually turning into this technique. Okay, so it could be turning 90 degrees, turning to 70 degrees, but the basic stays the same. So that means that whenever we turn, we've got to make sure that we have our balance so that we can set down exactly in the stance we want to, when we want to, and time the strike or the block to be exactly what we want. So outer forearm lock. So by the book, this is knuckles eye level, 90 degrees here at the elbow, and 45 degrees here from the body. So you shouldn't be up close like this, shouldn't be out like this, but both arms should be the same. So if you use this pattern, you can see that both arms will be the same. So outer forearm lock, outer forearm lock. Most of us know reverse punch. Reverse punch means same hand and foot, leading, and then without stepping, reverse punch. Okay, so this is solar plexus level, so where my rib cage notches or my uniform crosses over, like this. Okay, so then leave your leading hand out and punch. See, both my hands are upside down, the wrong way. And then as they make impact, elbow strike behind me and punch in front of me, they both turn over. Okay, so reverse punch, reverse punch. Try to make sure that when you do this, your hands are changing places. So see where my hand is right now? I want the other hand to come and take its place. And then both hands turn over. So wherever that hand was leading, reaching, chambering is where the other hand should end up. Okay, so same spot. All right, so reverse punch. Again, timing, very, very important on all of these things to make them look crisp and just show self-discipline, self-control to make sure they're coming the way that we want to. Okay, next one is twin inner forearm lock like this. So splitting a grip or blocking two different things, but splitting your hands apart. So crossing your arms in the front and then twist. Right? So cross your hands in the front and twist. So outer forearm lock like this. Outer forearm lock like this. Right? So looking from the front, starting with both hands here in chambered, high chambered position, and then crossing, elbows should be in, not like this, elbows in, and then break hard to the outside. Break. Right? So difficult technique to do powerfully, but if you, again, delay and explode, just like every other technique, it'll be a lot stronger. Okay, so outer forearm lock. Almost all of you know front kick. So front kick, we need to do our best to keep our base foot on the floor, even though it's going to be rotating to accommodate the kick, and keep our balance. Look at the spot that you want to hit. Refold. Try to keep the knee pointed at that spot we wanted to hit. So, all right. So if you're looking in front of you and doing two front kicks, I'll try to aim at exactly the same spot with each leg. All right. So front kick. So I think that most of you have worked on the rest of the technique for this form, but it's a fairly simple form. It's the first one that has kicks, and so that's a great opportunity to work on balance and timing, and will help you with it. Now, some other techniques, open hand, spear fingering technique. Now, spear finger, we usually think about as to soft tissue like trachea or eyes, things like that. In this form, this is actually done to the solar plexus. So again, it's just like a punch, and then turned over halfway. So just turn 90 degrees over. So this would be the same as what we call a vertical punch, with the knuckles running straight up and down. So same thing here. But note that this hand is closed and this hand is open. So close that leading hand and spear with the other one. Okay? Now, the way it's done in this form is that it's called reinforced. So your hand should not be structurally reinforcing this at all. It just looks like that. It's artistic reinforcement. It's just traditional technique, and sometimes it may feel even artificial or elaborate, but this is a traditional thing that we're doing. So on this one, you can tell your own story about it. This is your form, but I'm knocking something down like this and then spearing over the top and then turning over that hand as I make impact. So, block down, spear. Now I will mention that this is one of the first techniques that you do on only one side of your body. This will actually happen many times in forms as you go through all 24 forms, that you only get to do this on one side of your body. So make sure that you practice the same thing on both sides of your body, okay? Same thing on both sides of your body. You don't want this to feel awkward on either side, right? So spear hand. Now, another one that has a lot of different interpretations is breaking away. So in this scenario, this playing in this form, is that you stab somebody with your spear hand and they caught your wrist. They caught your wrist. Did they catch it with one hand, other hand, both hands? Well, you have to be able to tell the story about how you're going to escape from that. So, there are lots of different ways to do that. Some people just leave the hand where it is, imagine they can't free it, and walk towards it, collapse it, so that they can reach that person like this. Okay? My preference is I like to get my hand back before I twist and give the opportunity for somebody to wrench my shoulder. So what I'm trying to do here is spear, okay, the guy caught it. Now instead of using my hand to pull away, I want to try to use my whole body. Now I see some people just pushing straight down. That will work if one particular hand has the grip on the outside and you're pushing down through the thumb. But if they have two hands or they have a cross grip, that's not going to work. So my suggestion is to use your legs, use as much of your body as you can to press into that, to explode forward. So you see I'm not changing the level of my hand, all I'm trying to do is break into the grip. So turn this guy's hands inside out. So as he's gripping you, turn his hands this way and give him much less hold. Because we're going to turn towards him next and strike him, and I'd really like to have my hand back before I do spinning technique. Okay, so I'll show you that combination. So from here, reach out, spear, and then breakaway. I'm just thrusting straight towards the person as forcefully as I can. A couple of other techniques we need to talk about. First one is high block, high block. Now, everybody thinks they know how to do this well, and you've probably done it thousands of times, but I'll just go through some of the basics for you again. So both hands fisted on this, and one hand chambered back, just like you would for a punch or many, many other techniques. And then this one comes outside of this one and twists and turns and pulls the other one back. Twist, turn, pull the other one back. Now I'll show you this one time from the side. What you're trying to do is make sure that you come outside of this one closely. This is, remember, all of these are breakaways. All of these are breakaways as well as blocks, and they're also strikes. So this could be a high forearm strike underneath somebody's chin. Now let me show it to you from the front. What I want you to get the idea of is this one is traveling almost vertically, so just at a slight angle across your face like this. And then when the fist gets to the point that you want it to stop, then at that point rotate your forearm up and it'll raise your elbow. So not like this, not like this. Okay, you'll see lots of people on videos doing things like this or folding on top like this. Our suggestion is do it from here, come on the outside of this, almost vertically, cross your face, and then twist. It just gives you a little bit more coverage if you mistime the block. Now this may seem like the most traditional, formal technique that you'll never ever use in your life. It's been used by me twice in self-defense. One time when a wild dog jumped out at me when I was overseas, and I just happened to go underneath it, and his back legs hit my arm as he was jumping over me. So he was in a dark place, I was in a light place, and I saw him at the last second, and he is diving to try to get past me, I'm sure, try to get out. So that was a time I never expected to use high block in my life. Another time was when I rolled a car in the desert, and I saw the windshield coming at me, and I put my hand up like this, and I got a couple of scrapes on my hands, but none on my face at all. So again, the things that we learn create muscle memory, and those times muscle memory saved me before I could think at all. So that's at least 2 times in my life I've used high block, a technique that I would have never imagined in a million years that I ever really use in self-defense. But the muscle memory is there. The other technique is back fist, back fist. So this is a pretty unique technique. Now you see people shortcutting like this when they're jabbing lazily, but that's not exactly this technique. This technique comes out like this and turns over at the last second, striking towards the temple, striking towards a soft surface, even if it's the eye or the throat or something like that. But what I want you to notice is this technique is almost unique in Taekwondo in that the wrist is bent. And that is so that these striking surfaces, the punching surfaces, will reach first, all right? So bent wrist means those techniques reach first, all right? So bent wrist on that one, and strike fast, right? Strike fast. I've heard this technique described as a rock on the end of a rope, okay? So you want to be careful with your elbow and make sure you're not hyperextending it, but you do want to be able to relax it and go fast. Relax it and go fast. Now, I'm not really trying to pull this technique back. I'm just allowing natural recoil to come from the tension of doing the technique. Okay, so again, you saw me coming out. I said every Taekwondo hand technique has a twist, so this hand's coming out like a hammer fist and then twisting over at the last second to have these 2 knuckles strike. These 2 knuckles strike. And if you're not sure about whether that's a good idea, just go whack a board with the back of your hand and see if that is successful. Otherwise, use the knuckles. I think it'll work a lot better, right? Smaller surface area traveling through something. Okay, so back fist, kind of a unique technique. So there's a bunch of techniques in Tosan that may be new for you or may need to be reviewed for you. So thanks for joining us today. Our physical challenge this month is going to be, yes, the whole month, not just a week. And this is to give us time to really have the opportunity to improve on all of the events on the black belt test. So let me just go through them really quickly. I think you all know them, but we'll go through them. Squats, air squats down to 90 degrees. Secondly, push-ups. Thirdly, hanging leg raise. Fourth, and we do them all in these order, and for a specific reason, and you'll see when you get to grip strength on, pull-ups, and then burpees. So let me go through the numbers for you. For males, it is 40 squats. For females, it is 40 squats. For push-ups, males, it is 40, and for women, it is 20. And then for the hanging leg raises, 20 for both genders. And then for pull-ups, 8 for men and 4 for women. If you can't do pull-ups at all because you have an injury or some other reason, then you can do Australian pull-ups, and then those are at the ratio of 3 to 1 for our numbers, test numbers, and then 10 burpees. And again, that's for both genders. 2 quick notes on each of the events on our black belt test, all 5 of them, is they need to be done with good form. This is just for safety. The problem is that as we get fatigued and we break form, we can create injuries for ourselves. So we want to make sure that we're using perfect form. And then the second thing is you can do multiple sets. Remember, you have plenty of time to get through all of these, but we do want you to do your best to do all the numbers with good form. Now, we do have passing scores that are adjusted by age and even events that are adjusted by our abilities or injuries or medical necessities. But we do want to do, to the best of our ability, good form for safety and for effectiveness. And secondly, remember that you can do multiple sets. And so you need to find out what does it take for you to get all the numbers in good form for this test. So good luck and work on all 5 events, especially on the ones that you need to get up on. So thank you very much for working hard on this physical challenge, and I'll look forward to seeing how we're doing on these on our reviews. Our black belt challenge this week is kindness. So we all know how this makes us feel when people are kind to us, especially when we perhaps don't feel like we're deserving of that. And so we need to be able to do that for other people too. Especially our family members, since we're all spending so much time together, we need to work on being kind. And sometimes that means ignoring or seeing past things that don't please us or things that hurt our feelings and still being kind. So it often means not returning the feelings that we have about how other people are treating us, but instead taking a beat and then being kind. So do your best to do this week, and I'm sure it will help all of us to have a happier, closer, more loving family life. What is fast, loud, and crunchy? A rocket chip.